Welcome to the show, kids. You guys are real live paparazzo. You're the guys.
We're the guys.
We are the guys, man. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which one of you fucked Lana Del Rey?
I would.
You said before the show, and nothing was off limits. So here we are.
We meant it. Nothing is off limits. So Adam, why don't you answer that question?
Dude, right into it, huh? Damn. Caught me off guard with that one, dude. Yeah, I caught her an off time. You know, this was like right after she just, you know, she didn't do well on SNL. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
She bombed on SNL, and she was staying at the Soho House in the West Village, and she came in the meatpacking district of New York City, and she came out. She's smoking a cigarette, looked cool, and I was like, now's like my perfect time to like, I'm going to just straight hit on this girl.
Yeah.
And I was pretty aggressive, but in a charming way. And I always said, if I had this job, my goal is to hook up with a celebrity. Like that was like the goal of the job. Like that was just, listen, I'm from middle-class New Jersey. Like I'm trying to, this is be really cool. And I said, hey, let's get a drink. And at the time, I figured I'd do it on camera. I was like, let's get a drink.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, put down the camera. And I was like, well, if I put down the camera, you're going to just act cool and not give me the number. She's no. So I put down the camera. We exchanged numbers. And we actually have her email. But at the time she was dating this dude, she was dating like this bartender in the East Village. But we never, nothing happened of it.
Sure.
I didn't bang her.
Sure. You didn't have sex with her?
I did not have sex with her. No.
Okay, great. I won't make you go into specifics like an HJ or a Western grip, you know, from the. I'm not going to make you go into specifics after that. Maybe you guys had some dinner together, some drinks and some laughs.
She's a nice girl. She's a very nice girl. I'm not. Listen, I don't want to sell myself short. Maybe there's a chance down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. I want to blow it, dude. You know, she's.
Can we get the applause for that? Maybe there's a chance down the road. Just hammer it for me, please. I appreciate it.
Get the applause after.
I need it now. I want them to know that we're serious about it. Give them the applause. Louder.
You know what celebrity I did hook up with, though?
Which one? What do we got?
This was kind of crazy. I hooked up with Mary-Kate Olson. You guys know Michelle Tanner from Full House?
Fuck yes, dude. All right.
That was pretty cool.
Was it before or after she was famous?
This was at. Well, here's what happened. I hooked up with Michelle Tanner from Full House. That was cold. That was good. That was good. So we met at this club in the West Village in New York City, and we were making out. Right. We got back to her apartment in Soho. And here I am freaking out. I'm hooking up Michelle Tanner from Full House, right? Mm-hmm. So we got to that point, like I'm making out with her. I'm freaking out. Like I get to that point. I ask her if I should get a condom, right? She's like, "You got it, dude." And then I
shut the fuck up. There's no way that happened.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Then I put my pink in her butt, and she was like, "How rude!" And no, I didn't hook up with her. I tried to, but that didn't happen.
God, that would have been the greatest story of all time. Look, because we've always said on this show and in the other show, Ross Patterson Revolution, if you get a shot at a celebrity like that with that much wealth, that much money, you don't pull out and you keep firing off as many rounds as you possibly can, and hopefully one of it takes. And then you're a K-Fed, you're a stay-at-home dad who just gets to fuck around all day.
Yeah, but you got to take her to somewhere like here, like Texas, where she can't get an abortion.
Nailed it. Yeah. Are you regretting it now coming on here?
I would be happy to be K-Fed, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the greatest.
Do you know how many pairs of gray sweatpants I would own?
My God.
Like 20 at least.
You have to.
White tank tops and gray sweatpants.
Yep.
That would be my uniform.
24 hours a day.
Exactly. Were you guys around in Hollywood for the K-Fed days?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Popo Zao. Do you remember Popo Zao?
Fuck, I still work out to it to this day. I blasted my quads to Papa Zao this morning.
Dude, I was full blown at TMZ when Britney, K-Fed, all that crazy shit was going down.
Dax was there when Britney was taking the umbrella to the cars, shaved her head. Like,
yes.
When it was the heart of the whole
That was like
paparazzi
2007. Gold. It was wild.
Well, she's doing a lot better now.
Mm-hmm.
She seems great. If you follow her Instagram, she seems great. She's married to a lovely Persian man, and there's an ironclad prenup in place. I'm sure everything's going to be fine. What's the worst that could happen there?
What could go wrong?
Yeah. So you guys were doing the barefoot in the gas station bathrooms, the whole shit during that.
The whole thing. That was probably the craziest time, honestly, to be in entertainment news. Like, just covering that, the daily travelings of Britney through the streets of LA, wandering around. It was insane.
Yeah, I had, and you got a lot of money for it back then. So if you got that golden shot, it was worth X amount of dollars, and it was kind of relentless, right? How long did you have to follow her around?
So I was inside the office at TMZ, so I wasn't out doing that. I was more reporting on air her daily adventures. But, those shots would go for a lot. Here's the problem, though. There was 90 paparazzi following her, so
Right.
you never got that exclusive shot. Very rare would you get that exclusive. That's where the money comes in. If you're the only person to get the photo of her beating down a car or whatever, pulling off her wig, that would have been worth the money. But when you're traveling and there's 50 people following her, everyone's got a photo, so they're worth pennies.
Yeah, and then how do you decide? Like, do you buddy up and then try to block some people out of the way so you can get the shot? Or do some of them call you personally and say, hey, I know this pic is going to be worth $15K. Do you want to split it with me and just meet me at Mr. Chow or something like that?
Yeah, so that's what happens. The people will go in with each other. They'll just say, listen, we're the only two people on the job. Let's just split the photo together. Sometimes, it is very competitive. It is it can be a little bit dangerous depending on the people you're dealing with, because it's very cutthroat and because there is a lot of money on the line. So I've seen people get physical with another cameraman just to block them from getting the shot. There was nights where I remember, so Dax is in California, I'm in New York City. And I remember I would hate when like Lindsay Lohan or Amanda Bynes would come to New York because I knew something was going to happen. It was just one of those things like, oh man, they're here. And I would go to sleep and I knew something would happen. I remember this one night I go to sleep and I wake up at 3 a.m. because Lindsay Lohan got arrested outside a club. And it was just like, I knew something was going to happen. It was just terrible. It sucked because you lost sleep over it. And as a news site, you're trying to be competitive with the other news sites and beat them to the story. So I'm racing down to the police precinct to get the photo before anybody else can. It was very intense.
Yeah, I bet. And looking back at it, that period of time was before everybody had one of these and they could, blast away photos and video and all that stuff. So you had to essentially be a member of the paparazzi or you weren't getting that photo, you weren't getting the video because the phones didn't really exist then.
Yeah, phones, social media just made everyone a paparazzi. Everyone out there is now a paparazzi that has a phone in their hand that has a camera attached to it. That's, my job at TMZ was essentially to take in all the photos from the outside world. So people would pitch us photos, videos, all that kind of stuff. And we'd go through it to see what we wanted to put on our website, put on air. And the second, you enabled the public to be paparazzi, that's when things got really crazy.
Yeah, and it's like people became paparazzi of their own lives.
Yeah.
It's like before you eat the food, you got to take a fucking picture of it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, get out of here with that shit.
Yeah, and it seems to be never ending right now. You guys were in the fun times where it was just like, all right, people were still doing coke in clubs and things like that outside because nobody was able to take a picture of it. And then you caught the crazy shit later. The Britney one will always break my heart, not because of what happened to her and her getting her head shaved, but I had a shot at that. Do you guys remember that Jason Alexander wedding in Vegas? Yeah. So I'm in I think Ghost Bar just opened in the Palm, right? For New Year's Eve, and I'm with somebody I'm dating, and she comes walking through Ghost Bar and comes right up to the table, and she's like, I want to dance. I'm literally just sitting with my girlfriend, and I'm like, oh my God, dude. And it's prime Britney. Like, it's the best Britney Spears you could hope for, and I'm like, let's go, And my girlfriend's like, no, and kind of politely told her to walk away. And then she came back 20 minutes later and started to get a little bit more aggressive, Britney. And she was pretty much just like, fuck you. And my girlfriend had stood up, security had got involved, and I was just like, all right, cool, we're going to get away from this. And then 2 days later, I woke up, and then she's married to Jason Alexander. And now I'm pissed because I lost $10 million that night.
Dude, you fucked up.
Yes. Yes, and I still look back at that. Like, I could have been the K-Fed. I could have been the one just sitting at home, and
You could have been in your gray sweatpants for the rest of life, dude.
And now I'm fucked. Like I'm a talking monkey with him, and we're doing this shit. But I could have been the guy just playing shitty golf, making some shitty rap songs every single day, and now that's all out the window. But you know, such is life, I guess. What's a sweet run-in that you had that you were like, man, this was one of the coolest interactions I've ever had with a celebrity?
I mean, I've had so many, dude. From like one day I had a tip that Beyonce was filming a music video in Coney Island. So I go there and check it out. I got there an hour before and was in Coney Island in the middle of the summer, and all of a sudden nobody's there. I'm like, I think this is a bad tip. An hour later after I'm there, I start to see like cameras start to like show up, but it was very like guerrilla style. It wasn't like a real shoot by any chance. So I'm hanging out a little bit more. Finally, out of nowhere, Beyonce pulls up and she's walking around with a small crew and they're filming her as she goes on the rides. And, you know, I'm like right in the thick of it. And all of a sudden the crowd starts to develop and Beyonce's there. I'm trying to get to her and I'm getting like pushed out because there's so many people. So I'm like, screw this. I'm going to leave. My buddy calls me, who's another photographer who was with me on the scene. He goes, listen, come back. They're walking on the beach. I think you could get close to Beyonce. I was like, all right, let me try. So I fight my way through on the sand and I get up close to Beyonce. I go, B, what up, B? I call her Beyonce like I know her. That's my way of getting her attention. I'm like, what up, B? She goes, what up? I go, B, this is crazy. She goes, this is nuts, right? I go, B, let me do a cameo, because she was like filming something. I go, she goes, come on, come do a cameo. She pulls me in. There was like not even music playing. I just start dancing with her for a second.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, after like 5 seconds of me dance with Beyonce, literally like one of the bodyguards takes me and like throws me in the sand because they think like I'm some crazy guy jumped in. The director of the video was like, no, he's cool. She called him in. She called him in. So finally I clean up, like they're protecting everyone, pushing everyone else away from Beyonce. I talked to her a little bit like, hey, thank you. That was so sweet. She's like, no, that was cool. That was cool. 4 months later, it's like 3 a.m. My buddy calls me, goes, yo, you know, you're in the new Beyonce music video. I go, what? He goes, you're in Beyonce's new music video. I'm like, are you kidding me? I put on like YouTube and Beyonce came out with this album where a surprise album. She had all the music videos already done. And she put me in this music video XO, which was absolutely insane. It came out on a Friday. And I remember like I was going to work that morning and the video, they used that clip on like Good Morning America, the Today Show, all over the place. And I'm driving through Times Square and my face is like, they're showing the clip in the middle of Times Square. I'm like, dude, what is going on? And that was like my Courtney Cox moment. Remember Courtney Cox was in a Bruce Springsteen video? That was me in a Beyonce video. So, I mean, that was pretty insane.